Okay, boys. So what you guys should have done so far is you guys had your document with the list of films, one of which you guys would move forward as if you are going to actually produce a film. Um, Now, obviously, what we need to understand is in this world, a lot of things revolve around money. And obviously, if you're making the film, the reason you're making the film is not to entertain people, but to make money back. So you guys have been given a list of movie ideas. You guys would have summarized your ideas and talked about which ones you would have felt would have been the most profitable. So now you've been given this list of movie data, and there's about 500 films worth of movie data here. And you've got the data such as the titles, the release dates, but most importantly, you've got the genres to see which genres would be the most or have been the most profitable. Um, you've got directors and you've got cast, so you've got actors there as well. And then you've got the budgets and office revenue that they made. Um, so the reason why I've got all of this data here is for you to then move forward and actually think about using data in order to help you with your decision. So obviously the first thing we want to do is we want to actually see how much profit each of the films made. So we're going to quickly start by adding a title there. We want to know exactly what the column refers to. Now, the two fields that we're going to use here will be the budget and the box office revenue, how much money was spent and how much money was made. So that would be a simple formula. So we'd use the equal symbol. All of your formulas and functions start with the equals. And you're going to actually take how much money you made and you're going to minus your budget, how much money was spent. So if you imagine if I bought a drink for, let's say, £1 and I then go and sell it for £1.50, my profit in that sense was 50 pence. Okay, so this film, Cloverfield Lane, 10 Cloverfield Lane, has actually made a profit of $93 million. Now, I don't expect you guys to enter this for 500 films, but what we can do is we simply drag the formula down, and that actually calculates that for us. And that uses something called relative cell referencing. Okay, so that, as you can see, would be N3 and M3, N4 and M4, etc. Okay, so that uses relative cell referencing. Quicker way, instead of dragging it all the way down, is if I double click, that would actually complete the whole column for me. So this film, as above, so below, as you can see, broke even. Broke even meaning that they did not make any profit, they did not make any loss either. That's a lot of profit there. 544 million, Captain America. 622 million there. So some very big films there. We've also got some films who have made a loss. So almost a million, American Ultra. 3.5 million loss there as well, Battle of the Year. So now to help us, what we could do is we could also use something called conditional formatting. So if I highlight the whole column, I'm actually going to go to format, conditional formatting. And what conditional formatting would do is the format itself refers to the way a cell looks. So this cell, for example, we've got the font used, we've got the size of the font, we've got the color of the cell, we've got the fact that it's been recognized as dollars. The border, there's no border around it, there's no color in the font. These are all things which we refer to when we mention the format. Conditional formatting will actually change the format of the cell based on the information inside it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a single color. We can use a color scale if we wish, but we're not going to do that yet. We're actually going to use a single color. And what we can do is we can actually say, I want the cell to go red if the cell is less than 0. So now what I've got is all of these cells within this range. If it's less than 0, if the number inside them is less than 0, it will go to this nice peachy pink, red, light red color. Okay, so that makes that data a lot easier for me to read. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to actually calculate the return on investment. So I'm going to put a title, return on investment. Now, return on investment, it actually measures how much profit you made based on how much money you spent. Okay, so how much profit you've made based on how much money you spent, it actually calculates it as a percentage. So where we may have a film which has made a larger amount of profit, they may have spent a lot more than another film, for example. So I may have made 50 pence profit in my drink scenario that I gave you earlier. You could have as another scenario where someone makes 25 pence profit, but they spent a lot less, which means their return on investment is a lot higher. So they could have spent, instead of spending £1, they could have spent 25 pence and made 25 pence profit. That return on investment is greater. So this could easily be done. What I'm going to do is very simply take my profit and it will actually divide that by my budget. And now that tells me that I've made this much percentage profit. Okay. Now, again, when we look at the formatting, what we can do is I'm just very quickly going to drag this down. Okay. So 6% is very good compared to this, which is 0.5%. However, if I double click this, that would complete that for me everywhere. I will highlight my whole column and I'm actually going to make that percentage. Okay. So now this has actually given me a more rough percentage. So 2.5 million spent, 57 million profit. 57 million profit. So we've got a huge return on investment